Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another video on the Next Rank YouTube channel. I'm Johnny, I'm with Jack, and we're going to be going over our top 5 most overrated skills in Rocket League. We just did our top 5 most underrated skills, and just like that one, you might have already heard us talk about this topic if you subbed to the email list a year ago or so, sometime like that. It's a while ago now, when we were putting out this video. But I've updated my list a little bit. Jack, have you've tweaked yours?
I've tweaked it a little bit. I've got some updated opinions at the very least, so it's still useful to have this in.
Yeah, we wanted to redo this because a year on, we got new takes on things, new things to talk about. Yeah. So let's talk about top 5 most overrated skills. I started off last time. Jack, do you want to start this one off?
I shall. I'm just going to be in free play in the background. Hopefully you guys don't mind. I think most of you never do mind, so that's all right. I have wall dashing to start off my top 5 overrated skills. Now, people love wall dashing, Johnny. It's one of the most asked questions I would say in my Twitch chat is how to wall dash. Yeah. People absolutely love it. I ended up having to make a YouTube video on it, and it's crazy. The reason I think it's overrated is because people spam it. People do it way too often to the point that it just has minimal advantages and minimal kind of returns compared to the chances of you messing it up. And anything like that, I just don't like for most ranks to spend their time on. I just think the time that people spend on learning how to wall dash is usually going to be worth spent elsewhere. And it's not that like I said, it's not that it doesn't give you an advantage. It does. It's just that it's so small. Don't think it's crazy. And people automatically overdo it anyway. Johnny, they're supersonic on the wall, and then they're just still spamming wall dashes, and they eventually end up messing up, or maybe they don't. But even if they don't, it doesn't actually do anything, and it's just not great. I have it at number 1. Or not number 1 on my list, but it is on my list. These aren't ordered. But yeah, wall dashing to start my list off, Johnny.
And as we're gonna mention later, a lot of the things we think are most overrated are actually things we've made videos for in the next rank.
They still
because they're not bad.
Yes, yeah,
yeah, they're not bad, but they're definitely. So, by some players overrated, and it's even not just the players using it, but some players who want to learn it, and you're like, why you don't need this right now? That is such a small advantage. You don't need to be learning this this early in your.
It's like learning how to flip reset at plat. A lot of players are very proud of being able to flip reset at plat. I'm like, I kind of don't believe them when they tell me that they can flip reset at plat, but I'm sure there are some people out there somehow.
There definitely will be. Yeah, there will be.
And it's just like, well, why? Like,
why, bro?
Yeah.
It just shows that if somebody can learn these things very early, they could have probably learned 7 or 8 other things that are going to give as much, if not more, benefit at an earlier rank. So these things are good, but not necessary. Well, maybe some of them actually in this video will be necessary. Let's find out. I'm going to say my first one is actually kind of tied to our top 5 underrated video. If you haven't watched that, then check it out after you're done watching this one. We went over our top 5 most underrated skills for Rocket League. My one is for overrated is the full control air dribble. And the reason I think the full control air dribble is overrated is because there are better air dribbles that are faster, easier to pull off, more efficient, and every bit as effective at scoring. So the full control air dribble, I mean this one that Jack's showing us right now, where you're air rolling under the ball, looks really beautiful. I mean it's a very aesthetically pleasing shot. You show this to somebody who's just getting into Rocket League, they'll be mind blown, thinking, how on earth is this possible? And this could be you one day. But so many players want to skip right to that part where that's them. They're like full control air dribbling, and they're air rolling under the ball before they've even learned how to use air roll in the air properly, before they've even learned how to do more easy to execute air dribbles with just harder hits. Now you mentioned you said your ground air dribble is one of your underrated skills in the previous video we did. In this one you can full control it, but you don't have to. You can do that one off a bounce and get a couple of hard hits. Very often in an air dribble you just need like 1 or 2 extra touches after your initial setup, and it's in the net. You don't need to carry it the whole way. You don't need to score your car. You just need the ball to go in the net or something. You know, a lot of players, they think they need their car to go in the net as well, I guess, because they're so desperate to fly after it. So I think, yeah, full control air dribble, overrated. There are better methods to score. And
right. Okay. I have chain flip reset at number 2. I'm not going to spend long on this one because I think that like it's very high level and it doesn't like, you know, not tons of players are going to be like, oh yeah, really want to do this. But I do get, again, too much of a question of like how to do this. Should I be learning
Seriously?
this kind of? Yes, bro.
What?
People love learning like ultra mechanical like skills. Now at a pro level, no, of course not. This is like very useful a lot of the time, and you really kind of need to learn it. Again, just at lower ranks and any rank below SSL, you will never need to pull this off. Is what I will say. Like never. I actually, if you can find me a situation that you needed to do a chain flip reset, double flip reset, whatever, then show me, because I don't believe it. At pro level, there's like just kind of bigger mind games at play. You have more control to be able to take it across the whole length of the pitch, and at that point, yes, a few kind of flip resets can help you with that. Lower ranks, no, just not at all. That's my number 2. Don't think it needs much explaining. Go on, Johnny.
All right. I'm going to throw in, well, as one of my overrated skills, a video that we just released in the course. So I'm not really selling that video very well, am I? But I'm going to say ball carrying is an overrated skill. One of my top 5 most overrated. And it's kind of related to full control air dribbles. Ball carrying is aesthetically pleasing in the same way. The ball's on your car, so it looks cool. And, you know, it's great. It is great to be able to control the ball in that way. But I think it's when players are first looking to learn this, it's too slow, too vulnerable to challenges, and it would be better to just have, you know, a good first touch to set up a flick off a pop or a bounce dribble. All these things will move the ball more quickly when you're first getting into them, whereas a lot of players will just ball carry, get absolutely dunked on. They'll just get the daylights dunked out of them every time. And I'm sure you guys have been in these situations where you're just dribbling out of defense. I know I make this mistake as well sometimes. I'm trying to get control of the ball so I can flick it. It just won't sit properly. I'm dunked on. Just get challenged. Whereas if you just pop the ball, it's a more versatile thing. Pop it up in front of you. You can move after it to flick it or to hit it a little bit more easily. We do have that video, or we do have that displayed in our free to watch. We're talking about this a lot, but free to watch video and quick flicks in thenextrank.com/free. So check that out if you want another way to set up flicks other than ball carrying for 3 or 4 seconds.
Right, yeah. So Johnny, just to kind of show it what he means, you don't like, you know, this kind of waiting, because at a lot of ranks, especially when first learning it, can just lead to getting dunked if you're not careful. Instead, it's more like if the ball's bouncing, first touch, flick high, because it does a lot of the, it makes the opponent as awkward as they would be with the other kind of type of move, and a lot of the time it just outplays them, and that's what you're getting at. And it also leads to a quicker recovery. You're on the ground for longer, kind of thing, before your opponent can recover. Stuff like that. So I could see that. I mean, I'm biased because I loved ball carrying and flicks. So I will, I will back myself, and I love that. But I'll specify
that it's maybe extended ball carries. I don't know how I think can it's explain just better, but you can get, like Jack said, the same effect of a ball carry by picking the ball up, dropping it, picking it up again, and you drop into a rolling dribble, pick it back up into a ball carry, you bounce it, you grab it again. Like having a more dynamic dribble, that's way better, way faster than just ball carrying only, where you're like this. This can still be good, but it shouldn't be all the time.
Right. So it's more like the straight on, long kind of just across the entire pitch. I understand that, and a lot of players do go to that. You like the more dynamic ones where you have more options. The bounce dribbles, like you said, into power shot or low 50. That makes sense. Or
catching the ball and is carrying it for a little bit and then flicking. Or catching it, flicking, or carrying it for a little bit making it look like you're going to pull away, low 50. Like, dynamic dribbles like that are terrifying to go up against. And I do think that is, well, for my rank, I'm not very mechanical, but one aspect of my game that I am very confident in is dynamic dribbling like that.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a 1v1 scenario in a 2v2 game, I'm super confident that I can score against people at my rank. Whereas if people are ball carrying, I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, this isn't 2016 anymore, bro. Like, it's not scary.
Right. You know, it kind of makes sense. I actually attach it to when I first went pro. I actually had to avoid doing what you've just described, basically, because I would go my entire playing time in Rocket League doing this, and then at pro level in Pro 3s, you just get dunked like instantly. It's too fast. So I actually had to learn, which I really wasn't good at because I would play a lot of 1v1. I would have more time. I actually wasn't insane at this straight away. I actually had to learn how to, kind of, like you said, carry it for a second and flick it straight away. And it felt really unnatural, but you get better results at stuff like that because you're conditioning your opponent. You're making them believe they can't challenge you. And even if they do, they get outplayed kind of thing straight away. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't mind it. Okay, next on my list is air rolling during shooting. Okay, everyone watching this video, you will all know, players just over air roll during shots. It's as simple as that. The amount of times that players do this, crazy air roll as they're about to go for any type of shot that's just like slightly off the ground, and then they scuff their flip or they mess up their flip timing just a little bit, and it completely scuffs their shots. Really, most shots that are like slightly off the ground, a little bit in the air, really don't need air roll to be able to place it where you want to. And half the time, it's actually making you slower in air rolling, just slightly. Now, I will say, of course, air roll shots have their time and place, like everything on these lists. I just think that once players learn how to air roll shoot, like they need to in certain positions, they then just do it in every single position. Yeah. And everyone's guilty of it. I did it when ranking up.
I did it.
Johnny would have done it. Everyone does it.
So much fun.
It's so natural, but it doesn't mean it's not overrated. And players continue doing it to this day and will continue. So I definitely have that one to try to avoid or minimize. But again, doesn't mean it's not useful in certain positions. Just be careful of using it everywhere as well, I'll say. Go on, Johnny. What's your next one?
All right, well, this one won't surprise you guys if you have been subbed to the channel and checking out other videos, but I'm putting back post rotation in my most overrated, and I'm dead serious. I do think it's one of the most overrated things. It's not bad. Like, we have a video on this, and of course, like everything else in this video, we're talking about overrated skills. We've got videos teaching all these things in thenextrank.com, but back post rotation is situational. It's talked about by large parts of the Rocket League community as the truth. Once I learned how to back post rotate, I gained 7 ranks. Listen, if that's you, that's great. I'm really happy for you. But back post rotation is not something you can do every time and continue to rank up indefinitely. You're going to need to pressure the ball, or your teammates are going to absolutely hate playing with you. But don't worry, we talked about it in depth in our video. I think it was actually the first video that we published on this channel. So you guys can go check it out if you want a more in-depth breakdown. Short version is back post rotation can be very passive sometimes. It can take you out of the game and cause you to lack synergy with your teammates. So do ball side rotate when it makes sense to, and do demo and rotation back when it makes sense to. Do cut rotation when it makes sense to. Don't think of rotation as just like back post. Everybody's back post. Oh, look at us. We're all such a good team. We're all back post rotating.
What it feels like is that it's like back post is the back post rotation. Going back post is like the first form of rotation. Everything else that like, oh, I might, cut in here. I might do this differently. That's secondary. That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like it's become over the past few years in the community in general. And that is wrong.
Jack, do you remember what rank? This is actually a genuine question. I don't know. What rank is the average rank in Rocket League? Is it gold or is it?
No,
platinum? Is it high silver, low gold, or something?
No. I think it's plat or maybe low diamond. Yeah, I think it's.
No way. Is it really?
I want to say it's plat 3 or diamond 1, but maybe look.
Oh, it's plat 1. It's plat 1. Okay. I've looked at the Rocket League skill rating distribution on Rocket League Tracker.
That's actually lower than I thought.
So yeah, but the reason I bring this up is because I saw someone posted our video that I'm talking about, the we reacted to Reddit, talked about back post rotation for a bit because Reddit loves back post rotation, and we titled the video apparently, Jack. Hey, no, that was a different one. Sorry, is back post rotation overrated?
Right.
So yes, I think it is, but somebody posted it, and there's a lot of discussion going on saying that we're actually out of touch, and we don't realize how bad the average player is, and that until you're in the high ranks like GC, you should just back post rotate every time, or you're just going to get in the way of your teammates. I can't disagree more. I think you should be doing this. You should be thinking about other types of rotation. Definitely as early as gold. Maybe even if you're playing with your teammates, like in voice, then you could do this in silver. Like not back post rotating every time, just trying other types of rotation.
I mean, at ranks like that, it's just whoever can hit the ball the most. So it's honestly like just stay close and flip into the ball. And whoever can hit the ball strongly the most, basically with enough power. That's not, no. I mean, comments like that are just acting as if like the ranks have drastically changed in terms of rotation over the years, and that I spawned into SSL. Like I just spawned into SSL. Like no, I mean we see a ton of replays of lower ranks. No, there's no way. Backpost is good in its moments.
It is good,
and it's not the default, and it shouldn't be seen as the default. And if it is, then that's where you're going wrong. It's as simple as that, really. It's that's not really up to
watch our
debate.
quarter pitch rotation video again. We just keep talking about the nextrank.com/free, but it's free, so watch it. And that's a better rotation philosophy, I think, than backpost rotation. If you had to pick just one. Luckily, you don't. You can have both. You can have several. So you don't have to choose.
There you go. All right. I have... Where is it? Errol and keep... Okay. I have keeping the ball close. Now, I will say this isn't... I'm not sure about this one. It's not really overrated. It's just that people struggle to pick their moments when they keep the ball close. And when players learn how to keep the ball close or learn a few kind of skills in keeping the ball close, like you kind of said earlier, Johnny, they end up getting dunked a ton. And I think that's where my kind of thought process stems from on this one. I would say that I said in the underrated skills video that I saw massive increases in my rank once I learned how to stay close on small pads and how to hit the ball really hard using little boost and forcing the opponents into awkward positions where they have to use more boost than I used, basically, to do my play. That was a very kind of like strong mindset I had in going through certain ranks up to GC, and it helped a ton. And that's where I have keeping the ball close can be slightly overrated in certain positions for certain players because they end up getting dunked on a ton, basically, from stuff like that.
You've merged two of mine. I had full control air dribble and ball carrying. You've just said keeping the ball close. You've combined two of my overrated skills, so I'm with it.
Yeah, it's for extended periods of time, which is kind of what yours are. Like the full control air dribble, where it takes about 20 seconds to get to the net, and same with the kind of cross, pitch, full ball carry. Dribble, and it's like, it's similar lines to that. You want to keep the ball flowing and moving, and it makes your play a lot easier to understand what you're trying to do, is what I will say for most players. So I have that number 4 on my list.
I'm gonna throw number 4 on my list in as kind of a similar one to what you've said. Well, it actually sounds like things you've said, but not specifically the same. I'm saying air rolling during aerials. So this is tied to my full control air dribble, but also just air rolling in double tap setups, air rolling to shoot the ball when out of the air, just air rolling in the air in general. It's what you said about when players first learn how to what was it you said? Everybody does it all the time when you first learn it. I forgot what it was now. You're number 3. Overrated skill.
Air rolling during shooting.
Yeah, air rolling during shooting, air roll shots. So anytime when you learn that, you just spam air roll. Same thing in the air. You learn air roll. You're like, oh, this is so much fun. You just hold it, and you don't really think about using it. And this goes all the way up to honestly very high ranks. Even some pros, I'll be watching them, and armchair analyst. You'll see them get dusted by somebody who just jumps in a straight line. I mean, Monkey Moon is 2-time world champion now, and he's become famous over the years for just flying in a straight line without air rolling. just being faster.
Well, it's just quicker.
When you just go for an immediate. A lot of the time, what the difference is that players like Monkey Moon will do a tiny little turn on the ground and then just jump in a straight line very quickly, whereas other players will jump immediately, slightly facing the wrong way, and then do that turn or that adjustment in the air, which does slow them down because they just cannot fly as fast in as Monkey Man can in a straight line. That's just one example, but it's a wider problem for many players. I'm sure you've all got a friend who just will not stop aerialing, and when you see them going up for a shot, you just know it's going to be trash. You're just like, there's no way they're hitting this ball cleanly. They're aerialing too much, and then sure enough, it's just a P-roller.
No, you are right in the sense that players, once you learn how to aerial, it can lead to just over aerialing in aerials in general, because and it leads, well, like you said, they jump and then they correct themselves rather than correct themselves and then jump in. It's just that slight change in the order of which you kind of correct your position in relation to where the ball is in the air that causes you to either do it correctly or incorrectly and over aerial or not. And over aerial, it makes you slower. When you turn and when you aerial in the air, you're moving slower a lot of the time, because your car is going to be facing a different direction and boosting in a certain way, that's pushing you back and making you slower basically when you're going for the ball. So no, you are right on that. You see a turn in lower ranks especially, and like you said, even at pro levels, like not a lot of players have gotten it down. I mean, I definitely don't. So it's one thing that everyone can improve on. All right, my last thing on my overrated list is flipping too much around the pitch. This is a very, very basic one that not a lot of players kind of think about. When you flip, you're committing yourself to one kind of path, one direction, for a certain period of time. You can't change the fact that you've flipped once you've done it. You can slightly boost to the side like that. That just looks horrible. It is horrible, and it's just awkward and not efficient. It basically commits you to one path for a certain amount of time. This makes you really susceptible to bumps and demos because your opponents can see where you're landing before you've landed, and you can't change that. And it also makes you, it gets you out of position a lot. Whenever I have bad series in RCS and bad games in general, and I'm just in a slump, the one thing I always see I'm doing too much is over flipping around the pitch. I'm doing it too much because it, like I said, you're getting to places too quickly sometimes. You're out of position a lot. It's not too good. So look out for it in your game. Flipping around the pitch, of course, you have to gain speed and it's necessary. But over flipping, doing it like way too much, it can make yourself very awkward. Have a look in your games. See if that's the reason why you can feel awkward in certain positions, and let me know, because I'd be intrigued if it extends past me. Well, I know it does because I've seen players do it, and it is useful to tell them. But for me, at least, it's one of the easiest things that I do when I'm playing bad. For that reason, I'll put it on my overrated list. Even though I don't think it's like, players like, oh yeah, I'm going to improve how I'm going to extend how much I flip around the pitch. This is a really good skill. I think it's just worth putting in this list anyway to make people avoid doing it.
I like it. I'm going to that's tied into my last one as well. In the previous time that we did this video, I had a different one. I'm replacing, I'll tell you what I'm replacing. I'm replacing flip cancelling when you're shooting, because I'm not seeing it being asked, or maybe you still get asked about this a lot. I've not seen it being asked as much or tried as much. A year ago when we did our previous version of this video, I saw that happening a lot. Players would try to flip early, cancel their flip, and then make contact, thinking that it gets a more powerful hit. But I think that myth has mostly died because it doesn't give you a more powerful hit. It changes your recovery path, and sometimes can allow you to reach the ball when it's a bit further away. Which would improve there, but it doesn't unlock new powers. But that was a myth. But I've got a better one that I wanted to replace that with. That was kind of a super situational, overrated thing, and I'm going to say unnecessary speed is overrated, because if you watch some of the best players in the world playing, they're not. Well, some of them are. It's a bit of a playstyle, but a lot of the very best players are not absolutely zooming around supersonic the entire time. Yeah. Some players are. Some players like Naupo, for example, he'll just be genuinely supersonic the whole game, and that's fine for him. But you watch Zen play 2v2, not supersonic the whole time. Yeah, I know if I watch, who else would be a good one? Itachi. Definitely not going to be supersonic the whole time. Monkey Moon, yeah, these guys really pick their spots to be quick, and they're known for being fast.
Yeah.
But it's different than just, taping boost down, flipping all the time, wave dashing, chain dashing, all these. Actually, I'm stealing a few of yours here, Jack. I'm combining wall dashing and flipping too much, and adding in a couple other things because, some players, and this is actually a way to tell that somebody's tilted, I've noticed, is that they're just zooming around a lot. And the amount of times that when I'm solo queuing and my teammate is fully zooming, just racing around the pitch, not slowing down, and then we concede a goal and they start being toxic. I'm like, so they're tilted and they're zooming. It's like getting the zoomies in real life is a good thing for a dog. In Rocket League, getting the zoomies, very bad. You're just actually not thinking about where you're going. So I'm going to say unnecessary speed, being fast, recovering fast. Being a quick player is very good, but unnecessarily can be overrated.
No, 100%. That's very simple. Yeah, one of the biggest things I see players doing in lower ranks is rotating back too quickly, and getting into a spot too early. They get into a spot in their goal too early, and at this point they've gotten back. The ball isn't in a position where they actually need to be in this position yet. And therefore they start pushing forward. All of a sudden we're too far forward and you have to kill all your momentum. That's never, or not never, but that's rarely a good thing to have to kill all your momentum. And it is caused by rotating back too fast. So yeah, no, you are right. The player, one of the quickest players that is tough to beat in a straight aerial race is Monkey Moon, and it's because he's very close to the ball at all times, because he's moving slowly around the pitch. He's always keeping a good distance. He's never being too far away at certain times because he's moving too quick and stuff like that. And even though his movement speed is very low, and therefore you think, he's a slow player. Well, no, he's not a slow player. He's just staying very close. He's actually an insanely quick player because of this, if that makes sense. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind for your own games. Johnny, that is the top 5 list. Do you have anything else to add? I think we're good on this one, right?
I just wanted to echo again what we said earlier, that just because something is overrated doesn't mean you shouldn't learn how to do it. Of course. In moderation and in the right circumstances. All the things that we talked about in this video will be useful. So don't be discouraged if you've been practicing something and now we're calling it overrated. That's not the point of this video at all. No. It's to try and keep you guys in the right direction with your practice. And that's why a lot of these videos and a lot of the topics in this video, if not all of them in some way, have been turned into videos in thenextrank.com. But you can, you guys, you're in the course, can go and see for yourself. We speak highly of all these skills. We tell you how to use them without becoming a player who uses them too much, therefore overrates them.
Exactly. Guys, if you have found this video useful, let us know in the comments. Drop a like if you haven't. Drop a sub to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.